Hey guys, this video will be a quickie because it's on a figure that has a lot of reuse, but super interesting nonetheless. I'm talking about the Purge Trooper, Phase 2 from Obi-Wan Kenobi series. When I first saw this trooper on the trailers, I was like, yes, the Purge Trooper from the Fallen Jedi Order will appear on the show. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, something looks a bit different here. I spotted a different helmet, but the footages of the trailer is so dark I could hardly make out the design details. Well, in fact, actually, even after watching the show, the entire series, I'm still having trouble spotting details because the figure's black and not a lot of things show up. So I'm glad this figure came out because I could pretty much just examine in details and know what is really the design like. And to add to the interest around this trooper, most people know that the video game Purge Trooper is based a lot on the clone trooper. Its helmet is very close to the paratrooper design and the armor is identical to the regular trooper. This makes me want this figure even more. But before I unpack this, let's look at the box. This is the Galaxy packaging, and like most people, it's the Galaxy packaging. You guys have seen it many times before, but that's how it looks like. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Basically, this is a show color. It's a bit lavender, purplish, I don't know. It says Purge Trooper Phase 2 Armor. Side portrait has an awesome artwork, as usual, with 3 Inquisitors behind him. The back blurb. You guys can freeze on this and read it, but just to let you know, it's nothing interesting. It doesn't even talk about the Purge Trooper itself. So, that's it for the packaging. Let's crack this thing open. Alright, so out of the box, this surprises me. This figure design is based off of Hasbro's 2020 Clone Trooper body, but there are actually more deviations than I thought. I'll go over them now. Obviously, we've got the helmet. I really dig this design. Definitely more angular than most other trooper. It looks like a stormtrooper, but the detail is in the same visual language as the Inquisitor ship. These details are brought to life by the red eyes and the side vents, and there's a subtle dark metallic detail on the snout and the mouthpiece, so it's not all black and it actually really looks nice in real life. Unlike Hasbro's Stormtrooper and Clone Troopers though, this helmet doesn't come with separate head sculpt underneath. I think this is a good move. Although I personally love the idea of removable helmet, the way it was executed since the 2020 Clones release was less than desirable. The proportions were off, not only in the size, but also the shape of a helmet itself is just not right. What's more, only Echo ever truly took advantage of this scheme since 2020, so it was a bit of a waste to apply to all figures. I'm sure Hasbro woke up to this because the previous Clone Pilot Hawk figure also abandoned this use of the clone head sculpt nonsense. And it looks like this is the direction they're going to lead to in the future. The pauldron is also a new sculpt. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen this in this shape before. What I love about this pauldron is actually the matte red paint scheme because it sets off a beautiful contrast from the other colors, and the silver button really just nice and clean. And what do you know? The shoulder is also new, with a ridge running down the center of the piece, similar to a Stormtrooper armor. And thank God this shoulder is also hefty enough and not like a weak-ass 2020 clone shoulder. But the way it was attached is the same as the clone figure. It's glued onto the upper bicep and can slip above the torso armor for extra articulation. And then there's the torso armor. The design is still based off of the clone armor, but it has buttons newly molded onto the front here, and the back has nifty mini backpack detail. The figure is the first of the 2020 mold figure that comes with a comma, other than the ARC Troopers, of course. I'm actually disappointed they didn't use the soft plastic comma from the ARC Trooper. That would have given it a cleaner profile. Instead, the comma is a bit weak and flippity-floppity and like the comma on the older figures. As for the accessories, this figure comes only with a rifle, but I'm fine with simple figures. But surprisingly, the rifle is not the usual Clone Trooper rifle, but rather a Death Trooper E11 rifle. Perhaps there's hidden in there some type of lore that the Purge Trooper will eventually evolve into the Death Trooper. I don't know. As for the articulation, I'm not going to labor on it, since there are plenty of videos on YouTube that covers the articulation from the numerous other repaints of Clone Troopers. So if you're really hungry to see that, go check out these other videos. So the verdict. I really dig this design. I think despite the previous Purge Trooper being closer to the cousin to the Clone Trooper, Hasbro improved on this by using the updated clone body, whereas the video game Purge Trooper has the thigh gap and the splayed comma due to the way the thigh armor just juts off to the side like this, and it's just a bad fit with the comma, and that it totally seems like the comma wasn't made for that figure. In this, while it's still a little bit wonky, it fits a little bit better, and the figure itself just looks a bit more realistic. The color scheme here is pretty nifty too, with the reds popping out throughout, although I would appreciate a little bit more graphic details like the Imperial insignia, and that would have been cooler. But this is not a criticism of Hasbro, because, well, they're just working off of what Disney gave them. The only thing I would change is, in the show, the helmet is super shiny, like most Trooper armor in the Star Wars universe. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go out, I'm going to spray it with a layer of gloss clear coat, and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, I'm back. So I sprayed the helmet only, making sure I didn't ruin the matte finish on the pauldron, and I actually like this a lot better now. I know a lot of people like to spray their figures matte, particularly human heads, but in this case, Star Wars Trooper are almost always glossy. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Anyways, please feel free to leave any questions or comments below, and I hope you guys will get your hands on it soon. But until then, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.